Hey guys, it's Chris the Batman statue collector, and you can't actually see us because here we are right here. How's it going, everybody? It's good to have you here. Happy Batman Day. And we are very excited because, again, we are celebrating Batman Day of 2025. This is a Hangout stream, and I've got Billy right here. How's it going, sir?
Doing good. It's nice to see you guys. And Brad for gracing us with his Guinness Book of World Records presence. So yeah, I didn't know we were gonna have a celebrity on. But this is great. You just never know. But
it's that guy right there. We got Brad Ladner in the house.
And he came dressed for the occasion.
Yes, I was gonna say check out his tie, everybody. He's got a Batman tie. I'm gonna show you guys right here. Boom. Oh, lift it. There we go. Boom. Look at that. That's vintage 1990s. Absolutely love it. But anyway, welcome to Batman Day. This is your show where we talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We can talk about collecting. We can talk about Batman, obviously, which is going to be our primary focus today. Anyway, so how many, Brad, do you know how many years this is? How many Batman days we've had? I know does Batman Day coincide with Batman's birthday, or is it separate?
No, it doesn't coincide with Batman. Batman's birthday is something like February 21st or 22nd, something like that. I think that this started in like 2018. I think
that sounds about right, somewhere in there. Yeah. And so it's really cool because obviously, you know, if you've cruised around social media today, there's been a lot of love for Batman. I've really enjoyed, there's been so many people that have shared Batman art, shared Batman statues, in just, Facebook, and I've seen a lot on Instagram and other places. So it's just really, really neat to see, people, because obviously I think this generally maybe would be people's probably favorite superhero in general. I think people like Batman just about more than just about anybody. And just because he's a relatable character. And that's what we're going to talk about today is kind of why we love Batman. And also in the chat, I would love to hear about why you guys love Batman. What draws you to him as a character, what draws you to his stories. And especially, if you're watching this, you've probably been a fan for a really long time. And or maybe you're just discovering, the Cape Crusader for the very first time and are just starting to get into the stories, maybe because of the channel, or maybe because of other, outside influences like movies and things like that, media. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So anyway, how are you guys doing?
Doing good. We're just sitting back and, went to the gym early today and got some food for the kids and figured we hang out for a little bit. And we got a WrestlePalooza, which, by the way, is the worst name that has ever been for a WrestleMania, for a wrestling PLE, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call them. I would rather they have gone back to In Your House.
Well, it's hashtag quickly put together, I think is what they did, because it was supposed to be next year sometime, and then they changed it to now, and then they changed it to 2 weeks notice, and then I don't know, it's just been very strange. So
well, that title definitely got put together fast.
Yeah. Anyway, Mike Stainbrook in the house. Want to welcome Mike. He says, "Happy Batman Day, everybody. Can't make it. Gone fishing." Well, you made it. You made it here for a minute at least. So thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it. Let us know what you catch. BoardCube 1 of 2 says, "I was happy to see in another video from Chris that XM is shipping the White Knight Joker." Yeah, they have actually started shipping that piece. I think I was told by Todd. I think he's going to send me one so I can review it for you guys. I haven't heard from Todd since. So I don't know exactly where that is, but hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to review that for you. And obviously, the Bat Bike is still one of my all-time favorites, but it's maybe a little too late, like I said in my video yesterday. If anybody, for those of you that did watch it, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if people will still order from them or not. Vincent says, "Hello, dude. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it, Vincent." We got Kevin says, "Good afternoon." Faith and Misery says, "Let's go Batman Day." Josh's Comics in the house. Happy Batman Day, guys. And BoardCube was referring to Brad, fit to be tied. Absolutely. I love that. That's fantastic. Skyly, I think hopefully I said your name right. Didn't succeed at McFarlane's pre-order Batman Returns. I sure succeeded. There we go. Fun with Collecting's here. Happy Batman Day. We also have Holly in the house. Happy Batman Day, everyone. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for being here. And again, Batman. So, a lot of people know my story. And so we'll kind of go around the horn here and talk a little bit about Batman and how we first started connecting to Batman as a character. again, Billy has got an incredible collection, not only of Batman, but also Marvel as well. He's also got original art, if you're not familiar. And of course, Brad, for anybody that knows the big cheese, as he says, he's got the Guinness Book World largest collection of Batman memorabilia. And obviously, he is a fan, to say the very least. So maybe we'll start with you, Billy. How did you first kind of connect with Batman? Like, how long have you been a fan? And kind of tell us your story a little bit.
First time I ever saw Batman was on Scooby-Doo. They would have guest appearances from different characters, Sonny and Cher or whoever, right? And I always thought the Batman ones were the best because he, obviously you get Joker, you get Penguin, and there would be the Batmobile, the Mystery Machine, and everything. So, and it went from that to then the first time I ever saw him in live action. It was Adam West, but I didn't see the show first. I actually saw the movie they did with the submarine and the world leaders and all that kind of stuff. And
Miss Kitka,
yeah,
Mhm.
the Russian reporter, right? So I saw the movie and thought it was cool. I mean, obviously for that time, I wore it out. Somebody gave it to me on tape, and I just completely demolished it. Just watched it all the time. Then finally, like on local TV, they started showing reruns of the show. They would show 2 episodes. I think it started at 5, so it would be like 5 to 7 or 5 to, I don't know if they were half an hour or like an hour. And right there is where you learned of all the rogues. Like, there was a different one. I mean, they would have repeats where, Joker was in several episodes, Penguin, whatever. But, from, King Tut was on there, Mr. Freeze, which didn't look like a Mr. Freeze, but like Mr. Refrigerator,
So he was okay. He was all right.
He was okay, yeah. But I mean, obviously, Cesar Romero's Joker was always the best, and Burgess Meredith as the Penguin. Yeah, just so love this show, and I mean that was already like in the 80s, and then all of a sudden, I mean, there was no Twitter back then, there was no internet, there was no any of that stuff. So all your stuff you either got from the nightly news or from the newspaper, and we just heard about them doing a new up-to-date movie, which of course was Batman '89, and I remember just like I couldn't believe this was happening. And then like everybody, when I heard that Mr. Mom was going to be Batman, oh yeah, that guy that played Beetlejuice, like what, and ended up being great. Jack Nicholson, I remember talking to one of my friend's father, and he was like, I think he's going to be great as a Joker because of The Shining and all that, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He was telling us about all this stuff that Jack did, and that was the first time I ever heard about those movies too. So to see him as the Joker, I think I was more blown away by that performance than I was even anything else in the movie. So, but yeah, that was it, Batman '89, and then obviously we don't got to go down the list of all the stuff that came out after that. But then you discover the comics, and I remember like back when I was a kid, when Batman '89 came out, all the Toy Biz stuff came out, like all the figures and stuff like that, and I remember I got all of them, and the one that was the hardest to find was Bob the Goon. And that's how it was labeled, Bob the Goon.
Bob the Goon.
I'm sure Brad has like 7 of them, but but yeah, he laughs, right? But if anybody,
he's like, I only have 6.
Yeah.
Darn, I wish I had 7.
Anybody who grew up in Brooklyn knows about Genevieve's drugstore, and they had them there. And I remember going to like as many Genevieve's drugstores as I could within walking distance of my house to try to find Bob the Goon. And I finally found one somewhere near like Coney Island. And so he was the hardest one to find. But the Toy Biz stuff, and then obviously the comics pushes you into other stories and everything like that. And it's just been listen, I'm a Marvel guy too, but Batman has always been top of the list for me.
Did you start, like you mentioned a lot of the media type of things that initially caught your attention, but like where did comics start playing a factor? Was it like immediately as a kid, or like
shortly
more
after '89 came out? Because if you guys remember, there was a comic book adaptation of the movie, and I remember getting that and reading that, and that was like the first comic little graphic novel that I ever read, you know. And then not long after that, or I don't know if it was before that, but I discovered Killing Joke, you know. And I remember I had those 2 books, and then Death in the Family, and then and I remember that whole fiasco, you know, the whole thing with, you know, the fans voting Robin to be killed, or, you know, all that kind of craziness. And then I discovered my local comic shop that, you know, and would go in there, and some of the older books were like, you know, 10 cents, 25 cents, whatever it was. And you try to like piece them together and stuff. But yeah, the adaptation of 89 into that book was the first comic I ever read. And then that spurred me on to reading other stories.
That's really cool. I was going to say, I mean, very similar start for me. Obviously, Scooby-Doo, I think, is the first thing I remember. Like, I had the Mezco toys. Like, I remember I had those, and I think we got those from like our local Walgreens or something back in the day, you know, in the toy aisle. And so I had like Catwoman and Penguin and Joker and Batman and Robin. Those are the ones I remember having. I don't think I ever had like the Riddler or anything like that. But so I don't know if like those predated the Scooby-Doo or not. I can't remember. I remember I had a Batman puzzle too when I was a kid. So, I mean, you know, I obviously had a few things, but to me, my first like real memory is the Scooby-Doo stuff. And it was specifically the Joker and the Penguin would guest star. And I always assumed like they were the main bad guys just because, you know, like, you know, they're the ones that always come on the show. You never saw anybody other than those two. And I love Scooby-Doo to begin with. So I think it's just funny to me that we both have the same kind of early memory of connecting with Batman through that show, which I think is pretty neat. And then very similar to where, like, you know, I obviously, you know, I'm older than you by, I don't know how much. I don't remember how old you are, but anyway, you know, you know, I definitely had some years in there where I was collecting comics, so like Batman, Detective Comics, and Spider-Man, mostly just those 3 titles. And then Batman 89 rolled around, and that's whenever I couldn't get enough. I saw that one 13 times in the theater that summer. You know, that's when they were airing all the reruns for the old Batman 60s show. And so that's kind of when I first really connected with that show. And then, of course, kind of steamrolled from there. But anyway, how about you, Brad? What connected you to Batman initially in your collecting journey and everything else?
Well, as a lot of people know, when I was young, you know, I was kidnapped by terrorists, and they put me in this room with all of this Batman comics, and I'm supposed to go through all this stuff, and I built a suit out of all these Batman comics, and I was able to use that to escape. And then after I got away, I just went back and tried to. That's Iron Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say you made it with scraps. Yeah,
mm-hmm. That's not no. Mine's similar to y'all's. I get it confused. I often confuse my life with Iron Man, but yes. So I just, you know, I came across the Death of the Family in '88 and started reading from there, and just really got into the comic books before the movie came out. And though I'm extremely jealous that you got you were getting comic books in '89 for like 25 and 50 cents. My comic book shop was charging me $3 a pop on those older on issues that were just out like a year or 2 before. So that makes me jealous. That makes me my time traveled self back then very jealous that you were picking those up. But I have to ask you a question about your Bob the Goon figure. Did you retain his hat, or did you ever lose it? Because his hat comes off.
Yeah,
and it was like always a pain to keep track of it.
Yeah, I remember losing it, but I always lost it in the house, and so it wasn't lost; it was just misplaced. And my mom would find it and be like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, that's Bob's hat." So
it's funny because with Bob the Goon, like we had a local like KB Toys in our mall, and I remember like that's all you could find was Bob the Goon. Like that's all they had because everybody bought the Batman.
That's where they were. They were all in Kansas.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were all in the middle, all in the Midwest. But I remember that hat too, and I remember it didn't really fit very well. It would just, I remember, wasn't it like rubber kind of, and it like it just would fall off.
Yeah, you had to really press it on there.
Yeah, I remember that. So obviously, again, Brad, you have an incredible collection. And so you said that you kind of just started with a couple of the stories, and then the movie came out. So what from there made you think, yeah, I'm going to start collecting this stuff?
I mean, yeah, I was already you know, well into the mythos when the movie came out, and I've been reading the comic books then for about 8 or 9 months, and picking up. I'd switched from getting all different types of toys and things, so like that was my thing. Like I just wanted more. Every week Friday, take me to the comic book store, get the new Batman comics, get a couple of the older Batman comics, and rinse and repeat over and over and over again. And it's just exciting to be into this thing and be into it slightly before, you know, with the Batman mania and how it exploded. You know, you're just into it a little bit earlier than everyone else. You just got, so that you, when that's coming out and everyone's excited for the movie, but you know so much more, you know, and now this thing that you just happen to just get interested in, everyone's interested in it now. And you're finding just stuff everywhere. Like the thing that you like, all of a sudden now it's everywhere you go. So it very much uh, informs your love of it. That, you know, oh, I love it, everyone else loves it, and everywhere I go, I see it. And so it's almost like being in a cult, basically. you're, you're surrounded by this the high leader and all of his followers who keep telling you that this is the way, and then so you basically find yourself in a cult of Batman.
And we found out that the supreme leader was a guy named Bob Kane, who was really just a fraud, is what we really found out, right? I mean, you know, I looked up to to Bob Kane for a really long time, and you know, to come to find out that it was all Bill Finger.
It's crazy because anybody who watched the Adam West, you know, at the end credits, you know, everyone's name was like in the moon or like in the bat signal, right? And it would always say created by Bob Kane. And then even, you know, the opening credits for '89 would say based on, you know, Detective Comics created by Bob Kane. Well, you know, I never heard the name Bill Finger until probably 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think most people didn't hear the name, and it was all thanks to that documentary that they did. You know, to me, you know, I consider it a giant honor that you know, Athena Finger is a friend of ours, a friend of the channel, and being able to spend some time with her. And you know, it's just like what her family has meant to the love of Batman. Like without Bill, you know, we would maybe still have Batman, but we certainly wouldn't have the Batman that we know today and the Batman we love, the Rogues Gallery, the look of Gotham, the look of the Batmobile. I don't know. I mean, what did it mean to you guys when that finally happened? When, like, again, like people didn't really know who Bill was because they kept him under wraps, which happened a lot in those days, where it was kind of like a creative head, and then everybody else worked underneath them, and many of them never got the credit they deserved. And I'm sure that's probably the case for DC and Marvel both. And maybe, I don't know if it still happens today. I'm sure it maybe does at some level. But what did it mean to you when they finally gave him recognition?
Right.
Well, you know, I'm very happy for him and for that, you know. And you know, I didn't know the story of Bill Finger for, you know, a few decades, you know, of collecting, until when it all started coming out and such. And when I heard about, I'm happy for him. Definitely, when you compare his contributions to what Bob's contributions were, he's definitely 80% of it, you know, if not more of everything. So it should be Bill Finger with Bob Kane. It's supposed the other way around.
I agree.
In fairness, though, like Zorro came out 10 years before, and he took a lot from Zorro. And there's no way to say that he didn't, because Zorro was extremely popular when Zorro came out. So like everyone had like read the Zorro book. So it's I'm not taking anything away from Bill Finger. I'm just saying that he definitely had, it wasn't like he dug it out of the earth where it didn't exist. He definitely had influences that he translated to it. But he's the one who did it, not Bob Kane, who just basically, Bob Kane, there's a joke of what's his name that used to run Apple, that's dead now.
not Tom Cook.
Not Tim Cook, no, but the Steve Jobs. The
Yeah,
joke
thank
of
you.
Steve
Yep.
Jobs, like all he did was go into a room and like, hey, just take all my music and put it in a phone. And he didn't like actually do the work himself. He just had it. That's basically what Bob Kane did. Let's have a guy his back and fight crime. And then Bill Finger did everything else. So, yeah, I'm very happy, and definitely should be, Bill Finger and Bob Kane versus the other way around. But
Yeah.
But it's all in the past anyway. It's all, as he's getting the recognition now, and it's unfortunate that he didn't get more out of it when he was alive, and nothing that can really happen now can really make up for that. That he kind of like missed the glory while he was alive of creating something so phenomenal as well as so prescient in our world.
I hope he, at the very least, that he could at least see how much people enjoyed the stories and enjoyed the characters he created, even though I'm sure it was very frustrating for him. And I know that, I know Athena's talked about it where, it's like, passed away, early in his life and didn't have a ton of money to show for it. And so it's frustrating, but at least hopefully he got some satisfaction knowing that people really enjoyed reading and diving into Gotham City that he created, which is really cool. Somebody brought up the fact, Eric brought up the fact that it's similar to kind of like Walt Disney. It's like, yeah, a lot of those figureheads type characters, it's like they had all these staff underneath them that did all the creating part of it, the Imagineering in Walt Disney's case. Walt had a vision, and maybe Bob Kane had a vision too of kind of what he wanted. Maybe he wasn't able to like visually say, hey, I want this guy flying with this flying contraption. I want a red bodysuit, and and ended up looking nothing like what Batman we know today is. But that's just the way it works sometimes. So what else do you guys want to talk about in the chat with Batman? Let me know your stories as well. We're talking about them here. Holly said earlier, just like Billy, I fell in love with Batman with Adam West and Burt Ward with the Batman movie, and I've been hooked ever since. Yeah, I think definitely the visuals, I think, probably brought more people into that world, I would think. What do you guys think? I mean, do you think it's more the comics, or do you think it's been more of like all the movies and in-your-face stuff media-wise?
Definitely movies.
Yeah, definitely the movies, because I remember as big as '89 was, and I mean, it kind of went in like parts. Like the movie was huge in the theaters, right? And then I remember the release for the VHS was just as big. Like it was selling out everywhere. They couldn't keep it in stock. I remember going to my local, like a supermarket where they had some of them there, and those things were flying off the shelves, and then everybody was watching it at home, and then so that's like '89 going into '90. And then 2 years later, still with the hype, we got Returns, which should never be outdone as far as like the hype for that movie, because that was the movie that I remember going to school and, the subway posters or like the bus stop posters, these huge, the bat, the cat, the penguin, And I remember also, I'm sure everybody can remember going to McDonald's and getting the extra value meal, and you got the cup, with like a large soda or something like that. And like that was huge. And I think they had Happy Meal toys and everything. So the hype for Batman Returns was definitely real. And so for that period of time, I would say like, even up until forever too, which I thought people were disappointed that it wasn't going to be Michael Keaton, but that movie had hype. So from really like '89 all the way up until 97 when Batman and Robin came out, every couple of years that there was another Batman movie, that there was hype all throughout that time. And those movies all made money. They weren't, obviously the last two weren't as good, but it wasn't like it was unwatchable either. So,
well, and you mentioned McDonald's, and that's really what ruined it for all of us. Yeah. Yep. For many years it ruined it. I mean, I like some of the other films as well, but like I really like the Tim Burton universe. Batman Returns is my favorite. And but it was just kind of deemed too scary, and it affected Walmart with their Happy Meals, and so they quickly made a pivot, which stinks, but I don't know. Where do you guys weigh in on those other films? I would assume you like the Burton films more than the Shoemaker films would be my guess, but where do you guys weigh in on them?
I really like Batman Forever. I think it's a really fun movie. It's different tone, of course, but it's campy, it's silly. It's good to have different varieties. It's not anything as bad as what Batman and Robin is. No, I think Batman Forever was a really good movie for the time that it was in, and it's not really. It certainly is campier than the Tim Burton movies, but it's not that far different. It's really the set design's different. And certain aspects of the acting is a little different, but it's not that far off from those movies.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I really liked Forever. I mean, again, it wasn't maybe exactly what I was looking for at the time, but I think it's still a fun flick. Obviously, Batman and Robin to me it can be fun. It's almost unwatchable at times too, just because it is so lame. But I mean, I still thought, Mr. Freeze looked cool in the suit, and I thought Uma Thurman did a nice job as Ivy. Bane was a little bit wonky maybe, but
yeah, I thought Arnold was that whole movie, like he's the best part of it,
Oh yeah.
Forever wasn't bad. It like Brad said, it was just different, and I remember like the Seal song was just after like it just drove me nuts. After you heard it everywhere. That song was huge that summer. Remember
that? And U2, I don't care for U2 personally, so it drove me nuts.
That song was huge and it was everywhere, and just I don't know, but
that song is still the biggest song.
It's one of the
out of a Batman movie.
It's got to be.
Yeah, it was everywhere, man. But somebody put it in the chat too. I totally forgot the start of Batman the animated series. Like after school, you rushed home. And I thought it was awesome that they used the same theme from the movies. They might have changed it a little bit, but it pretty much sounded the way the Danny Elfman score from Batman '89. But yeah, I mean that. Usually, like at that time, I remember cartoons, even like G.I. Joe or Transformers, they weren't dark, there was always like, the message or whatever, the more or, stuff at the end, the Saturday morning stuff. This was dark,
Now and knowing's half the battle.
Half the battle, right? Yeah. But this was like a darker cartoon, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it, because like even older people liked watching it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, like whenever Batman '89 came out, it was so much darker than kind of what we had seen, even in the comics. Like the comics could get a little bit dark. Killing Joke clearly got dark, and it was all around that same time. And so they're like, whoa, this is like a whole really different thing, a whole different feel. And like you said, at the same time, going with the 60s show, all the reruns and things like that, it kind of went back to the campy stuff. But then the animated series came out, and it was definitely more adult, considering, it still was a show for kids, but it had darker themes, and it was a little scary at times. The animation was incredible. And so I really think even though they did pivot and went a different way with after Returns, they went with the Forever, I still feel like that animated series kind of kept that darker, that more noir, detective-y, dark lightning, you know what I mean? Like it just had that darker feel. And it kept that alive for me, at least. JWR in the house, just invited him to come on. Hello to you, sir. How the heck are you doing?
What's up? This is not my usual setup. I'm at the store, so if somebody comes in, I'm gonna jump off. But to celebrate Batman, of course, I gotta be with you guys on Batman Day. So I thought I'd jump on. So, and as you can see in my office, I do have all my 1/10 in the office. So I mean, Batman's just the best superhero ever.
That's awesome. I'm glad, because I know like you started with some of those figures back there, and you've kind of like, you've tiered up, just like we talk about on the channel. You've tiered up over the years, and it's great that you kind of kept the hold of those and still have them at work. That makes it a lot of fun. That's awesome.
Yeah, all my 1/10 and my 1/6 are at the store, just kind of spread around. You'll see a suit, and you'll see a Batman, you'll see some polos, you'll see a Joker. So we got them all kind of spread around the store.
That's really awesome. And of course, if you're unfamiliar with JWR, he's got a great collection, and he was really into art prints there for a minute. And now he's definitely swayed over to the original art side of things, which is exciting. And, also a big event coming up in your life as well, which we're really excited for you and your engagement. So congratulations again on that. We talked a little bit already. I don't know if you saw the beginning of the show or not, but we talked a little bit about, kind of like what got us into Batman in the first place. What's your story? How did you get into the Dark Knight?
It was Nick at Night, old reruns of Adam West Batman. That's how I first discovered him. And then I was at the grocery store walking by the comics, saw a Batman comic book, started reading it, saw Batman 89 just like everybody else. So it was just one of the things you just kind of grew up watching the show, reading the comic books, and then getting into the movies. And some of the movies were amazing, and some of them you're just like, that was terrible. As an adult, you look back at some of them and you're just like, that's not my Batman.
Yeah.
So the comic books are really, and the animated series, I will say, really the animated series is what was the prime source for Batman for me growing up, was Batman the animated series. Is that Batman Buddha?
Yeah, Batman Buddha right there. Look at that.
Batman Buddha.
Oh boy.
That's awesome. So we're talking about movies and obviously the influence of the animated series. I feel like animated series is probably the number one thread that goes through all of us. Like I feel like everybody likes that show. Like you don't ever hear of a Batman fan they're like, wasn't really a fan of the animated series. It always seems like no matter what people thought about the comic books or the old show or whatever, it always feels like the animated series is that kind of consistent. Would you guys say that's fair? Like it seems like, if you're a Batman fan, it seems like everybody loves that show.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not every one of those episodes were like hits, but it definitely like 19 out of 20 of those episodes is like almost the best episode of a cartoon show ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember the Two-Face story and the Mr. Freeze made me a bigger fan of those two guys than anything else, just based on the animated series. And Kevin Conroy is still the voice I hear when I'm reading comic books to this day.
Yeah, I'm the same. Speaking of that show, people don't seem to talk about it all that often, but it's Mask of the Phantasm. That was an incredible release. Definitely one of my favorites. Where does that weigh in on some of your favorites with media in terms of Batman, with the animated series or just Batman in general?
I think some of the Batman animated movies are better than the live action ones.
Yeah, you got like what, Heart of Ice, right? That's the Mr. Freeze one.
Heart of Ice, any of the new 52 movies they did, Batman versus Robin, the ones they did like that were really, really good.
How about you, Billy? What do you think of Mask of the Phantasm?
I mean, I kind of got out of it a little bit by then. I didn't see it in the theaters. I ended up seeing it later on when they started coming out on Blu-ray or whatever it was. But I really enjoyed a lot of the animated stuff as well. Obviously they put Hush out. That Flashpoint was really good. But just to go back to the animated series, one of my favorite episodes from that show was the one where all the rogues they were telling their story about how they almost got Batman.
Yeah.
If you guys remember that. Yeah. So that
almost got him.
Almost got him, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
good job, Brad.
That was definitely one of my favorite episodes of that.
Brad, what about that on your list? Is that one of your favorites in terms of the animated stuff?
I'm interested in seeing this Mask of the Phantasm when it comes out. First I've heard of it.
Well,
is that coming out later this year? Is it like direct to HBO Max?
I have a top secret bootleg copy. I'll send your way.
Ooh.
I actually did go see it in the theater this year, earlier this year. Phantasm. They played it during the summer. So
I was going to say, like, I see, I see you posting photos of you at different movies with your son and your family, and it's really cool because they actually bring a lot of stuff back to your theater. It seems like, so it's really cool. Like we don't get. I'm a really small town, and so we don't get very much of that. We did have the Jaws. The Jaws came back, but I know some theaters had like the Batman '89 and Returns came. Ours did not. our theater. But
He just went yesterday to see Toy Story.
That's neat.
First Toy Story in the theater. So yeah, it's nice to be in a big city and a lot of stuff to be, coming out all the time. But even when I was a kid and I went to see Phantasm in the theater when it came out, which was the day I went to see, it came out on Christmas Day, and I went the day after because it was Christmas, and you're with family. But I got my mom to take me a day after, and there was a big theater, and there's only like 3 other people in the theater. Like it bombed. No one went to see that thing.
Yeah, which is crazy, right?
We had to go. We had only I was from Mississippi, and there weren't that many theaters around to go to, and we had to go like 2 cities over and drive past like three other theaters to get to a theater that was actually showing it.
Man, that's crazy. I would have loved to have seen it in the theater. I don't even know if it came here though. It might not have. I don't remember. What was that? 93?
94.
94. Okay. 94.
Because it came out, the show came out in 93, the year after Batman, or was it 92? I don't even remember anymore.
I don't know. I feel like it must have been.
Ever since I escaped that cave from the terrorists, my memory has been.
Well, we were talking a little bit about movies. Where do you guys rank? I don't know if you had to rank your top 3 live action Batman movies, how would you rank them? It's going to make you think here. I know it's not always easy.
Dark Knight is one of the best movies ever made of any movie. Hands down, I think critically, it just is. I think Dark Knight is on IMDb's it's top number 3 or number 5 or something of the top 100 movies. So I think that I feel like anyone's going to say Dark Knight is number 1.
Well, for me though, I think for me, Dark Knight's probably number 2. I don't know. I always have loved Batman Returns. I don't know why. I just love the look of it. I like the feel of it. I like the grittiness of it. It's so weird. It's just a weird movie kind of. And it's, I don't know. It definitely turned darker than the first film. I don't know why I always connect with that one. Maybe I loved Danny DeVito as the Penguin. I liked Michael Keaton's suit, the updated suit. I liked the role of Catwoman, obviously. But I don't know. For me, I would probably rank it Returns, Dark Knight, then probably 89, then probably Begins. Maybe, I don't know. What about you, Billy? How would you rank your 3 or 4?
I mean, 1 would be 89 for sure. Just because that was the first time that we ever saw something like that, So, but Returns is a close second. I think it was weird, but it was also, I don't care what anybody says. I still feel it was a Christmas movie.
I treat it as a Christmas movie.
Yeah, and the only thing I have that kind of holds back Dark Knight for me is that it was the middle movie where you didn't, you still knew there was another one coming. But yeah, I guess I would put Dark Knight 3 and then probably Batman 2022 would be 4 if I had to go 4.
All right. JWR, where would you rank yours on the list?
I would say Returns, 89, the Batman, and then the Dark Knight.
Oh, I forgot about the Batman.
That's Batman 2022.
Yeah, 2022. I was going to say, I guess I just forgot that. I don't know. I don't know if I would rank that higher than Batman Begins. I probably would. I don't know. Where do you?
I would rank it higher than Batman Begins.
Yeah, I think I would change it to my 3rd place then, I think. I don't know why I tend to forget about that movie for some reason, and it's so amazing.
A long time ago.
Yeah, I know. If 2022, it does feel like a long time ago. As we're talking about,
a long time before the second one comes out, so we'll forget about it again. Probably.
Yeah. Well, I want to put a pin in that because I want to talk about that here in just a second. But Brad, we heard your number 1. What would your 2 and 3 be?
I think my 2. Well, I have a special place for Dark Knight Rises because of going to the premiere. And so I'd probably go Dark Knight Rises, and then the Batman. And this is saying what are the best movies, because for me, the best live action Batman is Ben Affleck.
That's what he just said right here. Honorable mention to Ben Affleck right here.
He just was never in a really great movie.
Yeah.
But he was definitely the best, to me, the best live action portrayal of a Batman.
Well, he certainly had the body for it. The suit was incredible in Batman versus Superman. I didn't like the changes they made in the other movies, but like he looked amazing. And I think, a lot of people are like I always say, like Ben Affleck's probably my least favorite Batman, but at the same time, he just didn't really get a chance. And when they were going to make that one with like Deathstroke, where he was writing it, and they were going to make that Deathstroke movie based on kind of like the Arkham Origins type of stuff. Like I was so excited about that. And then of course they got rid of all that. And I think that would have really changed people's maybe opinion on Ben Affleck, or maybe swayed people like me to give him his own film, which are you guys amazed that they never did? Like, I'm still shocked by it.
I'm not amazed that they didn't do it, but it would have been nice if they did do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the same thing with Henry Cavill. He was a great Superman. Just put him in bad movies. But he looked like Superman. The suit was awesome. Same thing like Ben Affleck. Batman should be this big, bulky guy. You know what I'm saying? And, the suit, the simpleness of it, I think, was what people really liked. And he was that older Batman, who showed that he was hurting and, had, and couldn't really do what he used to do. But for me, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but like still though, Justice League Batman is not my favorite Batman. And so you throw him in there with Aquaman and a campy Flash, it's going to mess up the movie. I mean, I think if you had Ben Affleck's Batman versus Deathstroke, or, just off doing his own thing, people would have a completely different view on Ben Affleck.
It's interesting to me that like most of us, and I don't know if it's just us collectors or what, but we tend to, like, all of us that I talk to, most people like an individual Batman. They don't like the Justice League team up. They like that dark noir, gritty Batman in the streets solving crime against the Batman rogues. Why do you think that is? Like, do you think it's just an age thing, or what do you think it is?
No, it just goes against everything about why we like Batman. Why do we all like Batman? He's a human. He doesn't have any superpowers. He relies on his intellect, his resources, and his rogues for the most part are based in reality. We have a crazy clown. We have crazy Harley's a human being. She's completely off her rocker. But there's also a level of intelligence with them too. But so does it make sense that this human being should be flying in outer space fighting meta-humans, whether if it was Darkseid or any of, the stuff that Superman goes through, or the Green Lantern? It just doesn't make sense. It makes sense in terms of the Justice League, yeah, but if, Batman, for I think hardcore guys like us, should be on the ground in Gotham, or like, Dan says, nitty gritty Gotham City, or whatever he said. That's kind of, if you like that, then you're probably not going to like him out in space.
Yeah, you guys agree with that? Yeah, I do.
I will say this, that I do prefer like the detective stories and stuff where he's on Earth and stuff more than like Justice League stories with Darkseid and stuff like that. But there was a mini series that came out in the last year, and I don't remember the name of it. And one of y'all might remember it, but it's all about Batman's first time going into space. And the reason he does it is he has a fight with an alien in Gotham, and he gets whooped. And he's like, if I'm going to be able to protect Gotham, I need to protect Gotham from everything. So he builds like a rocket to take him into space, into the far reaches of space, to challenge himself to fight aliens and come across aliens. And it's a really great story of him like learning all about like basically alien races and cultures, and at the same time he's like freeing whole worlds of slavery and stuff. That as it's this odyssey of different villains and things in space that he comes, and he's still, not only is he outmatched because some of them have powers, but they also have technology that's way beyond him, but he keeps adapting and he keeps getting better and better, to where he's got like whole civilizations now worshiping and following him because of what he's doing out there. And I can't remember the name of the series.
Okay, it's a
but
Borg
it's
Cube
really
1 of 2. Borg Cube 1 of 2 says
That's
it's
it,
Batman
Offworld.
Offworld. Yeah, Offworld.
Batman. I highly recommend Batman Offworld, and that it's probably one of the better Batman in space.
Where can you
stories
see
ever.
this? Is it on HBO Max?
No, it's a book. You got to read it.
Oh, it's a
with all
book.
the letters,
Oh, okay.
the
All
words,
right.
commas, and periods.
Was it like a book or was it a comic book?
No, it's a comic book, so you,
Okay.
you have pictures too.
Okay. All right. Well, that's I don't think I've heard of that at all, and it sounds really fascinating. I love it. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. And that's the thing too, is like, you know, like I don't have a comic book shop near me. I talk about it all the time. It's like, you know, I feel like I miss out on a lot of the stories that do come out. Obviously, the ones that are the bigger stories like Hush 2 or Absolute Batman, like they get the most attention. There's still a lot of really great stories out there that, you know, hit the bookshelves that we don't always maybe see. Which
You
brings
should
me
get
to
the
my
app like I do.
Which one?
So it's DC Infinite. It's an app that you can put on your iPad, and you can read all the comics.
Is it like a monthly fee?
Yeah, it's just a monthly fee. I have the Ultra package. It's like $100 a year, and I get to read all the new release comics, the old comics, Batman, Superman, Teen Titans, all of it's on there. And they go in order from like the New 52 to Rebirth to where they're at now, and it's one of the best ways to read comics because it keeps up with where you're at as you read them.
Since I'm old and blind now, can you like zoom in on the text?
You can click individual squares and read it that way.
That's neat.
Yeah, so I'll click on a square and just scroll through and it goes panel by panel.
I should do that because I feel like I don't know. I always catch up eventually, and usually it's once a hardcover comes out. That's usually when I'll buy it. But sometimes it takes forever. And I want to read. Have you been reading the Absolute Batman? Like I read that first hardcover, which I really like a lot. I think the writing's really good, Scott Snyder. But I want to keep reading them, but I have to wait till the hardcover comes out. So maybe that'd be a good option for me.
Read it. Every time a new issue comes out, it hits the app.
Is it the same day it hits the newsstands?
I believe so. If you have the Ultra edition, which I have, it hits same day, I believe.
Okay. I'll have to look into that.
Marvel's, it takes like if a new comic comes out, it takes like 90 days for it to hit the app, but not with the DC Infinite Ultra package. You get it same day.
Well, you're trying to get me to spend money today. We were already complaining earlier about having to spend the $30 on the dang WrestlePalooza tonight. Are you going to be buying that?
No. I mean,
I'm going to Haunted House tonight.
It's
Cody,
Drew, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. We've seen it a million times.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm also assuming that it'll all be on like YouTube replay, like constantly, like they do with all the clips anyway. So who knows?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're talking about comics, and we're, I kind of wanted to do around an hour. We got about 10 minutes left. Where do you guys weigh in on your favorite? Let me do two part, like 1 and 2. Favorite comic book story and favorite comic book artist. Gonna make you. I can see like smoke coming out of their ears. Everybody's like trying to think here. Like, this is tough. This is tough.
I feel like, in going and looking back over time, like, so Nightfall, I will say, like, has a nostalgic feeling to it, but I feel like No Man's Land is probably a better story, and a better story for like exploring Batman and a big story that explores Batman and all the villains in like a unique way. That's probably a little bit actually better than Nightfall, though Nightfall is still has just the like nostalgic feels. Like I'll buy anything if. I would be afraid if I saw Mein Kampf and it had like a Nightfall sticker on it. Like, what am I going to do here? Like Nightfall just hits it for me. That's like my heart. But I think No Man's Land is probably, like, as far as big stories, maybe one of the best ones that was ever told.
So what about Nightfall particularly do you like? Is it the art? Is it the story itself? What brings true to you?
It was just like that was when I was at my most enthused as a young person. It was the build up to it of reading these stories. It was the first big thing that was built up in reading Batman. Like it was a lot of like period of time of reading this soap opera of Batman built up to this big epic story with this brand new villain and this challenge that Batman was gonna not be Batman anymore, and just the anticipation of it and how it's gonna happen. Like I don't feel that in the comic books I read now, where I'm like so and like I just can't. I don't have that where I can't wait to get the next issue, and I'm anticipating, and everything in my life is centering around getting that next issue. It's not like that anymore, like it was then. So that's what it is for me. It's just an emotional, enthusiasm for it.
Do you have any Nightfall statues?
I have all the Nightfall statues.
Do you have the third scale that I had, the Prime 1? I couldn't remember if you had that. Oh, yep, there it is. Yep, that's awesome.
I got all the different cows that they have.
Later, guys.
Okay.
Yep. Anything comes out with I ordered that Hot Toys that was released by Sideshow that hasn't come out yet. Anything with that as bats, I'll get it.
That's awesome. That's cool. I don't know if I knew that about you, that you like that story the most. That's really neat. And it is a very iconic, without question, very iconic Batman story. You think of Dark Knight Returns, you think of, Hush, you think of all these amazing stories that people bring up all the time. So it's cool that you like that one. I like that. Yeah, that's a cool figure. Is that McFarlane?
Yeah, it's McFarlane. That's the blue one. And then the red one is right next to it.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
That's very cool. How about you, Billy? Where do you rank in your number one? Now, I forgot the part 2 of that question, Brad, was the artist. Do you have a favorite artist? Is it because of that story, or is it another artist?
Brayfogle.
Who?
Brayfogle?
Oh yeah, Brayfogle. Yeah. Norm. Yeah. He's fantastic.
That's my favorite.
And it's really cool because that's my David Finch commission of Ventriloquist. He did it based on his art, which I love. And he had mentioned that to me. So like that's just really neat. So great artist. All right. Sorry, Billy. Your favorite story and artist?
Favorite story, Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, that.
Hence the shirt, hence the hoodie.
Yeah, it's just now. The second part of that, where I'm not a huge fan of Frank Miller's art, but the story, Batman kicks a lot of ass, and now he's 55 years old, and times have changed, and I think as middle-aged guys, we all go through that where you start feeling like you're not the same. That me personally, I could do everything I used to do in my 20s. I just don't recover from it as fast, So, no, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Batmite. That's is that an old piece? I don't remember seeing that one.
It's
that looks like a swap meet special.
2001.
That's cool. That's a neat piece.
Not that old.
That's cool. Neat. Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen some Batmites, but I don't think I've ever seen that one. That's neat.
That's awesome. But yeah, like
this might have been the first Batmite thing that was produced for like
Was that in the WB stores or?
Yeah, it was WB.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Very cool. But I just I like that, he just, you're going back and forth on, can you still do this? Should you still do this? And then for him to come out of retirement because he's just not liking what he's seeing in his beloved Gotham City, and comes back and gets whooped, and then goes and redoes it. And you kind of saw Batman had to do a little bit more thinking, and so I think, like I said, as middle-aged guys, we all kind of want to feel like we could still do the things that we used to do, and he did. So it was pretty awesome story.
Yeah, it was, like I said, very, very iconic. Obviously, probably one of the most known Batman stories, I would say. I don't know if it's like right there. I don't know. I always go back and forth between that one, like Hush, Killing Joke. Like I always feel like those are the ones that people bring up, you know,
Yeah,
the most when they think of a Batman story.
Those are great too. Artist wise, I mean, I go Bermejo, followed closely by Jim Lee. You know, I've always liked Lee Bermejo's more realistic, you know, look.
Yeah.
I felt like Heath Ledger's Joker was based a lot on that. You know, they look really similar. Yeah, but obviously Jim is not to be outdone. You know, like you talk about classic stuff. It's always, you know, not that I don't like Hush. I think the story is a little overrated, but the art is phenomenal. So, but
yeah, I was gonna say it's really the art with that story.
Really
you know,
art,
it really is the art.
The story is what it is, but yeah. So, story, Dark Knight Returns, and artist would be Lee Bermejo.
Speaking of Lee Bermejo, since it is Batman Day, we got to throw a little Joker in here. But this was a photo. I don't know if I shared it, but this was the work in progress. Well, I mean, this is the work in progress photo, and it's kind of neat to see, you know, with it only partially finished. And I have it hanging right behind my Bermejo statue, and I was looking at it. It's almost identical to the statue. His head is almost identical to the actual head on the statue itself, and it's so good when you have them.
Which head do you have on the statue? The one with the mouth open or the mouth closed?
Mouth closed.
Mouth closed?
Yeah.
I have a question, Chris.
Yes.
In all these custom artworks that you have made,
yes,
they're custom. You can provide some feedback.
Yes.
How come you haven't had someone do a villain like a Joker in a room full of Batman statues?
No, that would be kind of cool. Or at least maybe Joker was playing with some of the statues or something. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah. Just take
I don't know,
your favorite and then have it basically like the Joker's in your statue room.
Yeah, it would be neat. The thing about doing a commissioned piece of art is it really just depends on the artist. Like sometimes, you know, like with this Lee Bermejo piece, I have been lucky enough, and again, going back to the conversation we're having about favorite artists, for me, my favorite artists are neck and neck David Finch and Lee Bermejo. I love the two just interchangeably for very different reasons. But it's all because of their line work and the shadow work that they do. Obviously, Bermejo's realism, Finch's grittiness, you know, with his line work, it's very just gritty, and I love it. So much detail. But usually, like when you commission somebody like that, like with Lee, I've developed a really great rapport with him, and I consider him a friend, and I'm able to communicate what I want. But with a lot of other artists, you go through a handler, and they just say, what character do you want? And you say, I'd like Batman. And then it's up to the artist to do whatever he wants or she wants with the word Batman. Some artists are very accommodating to being very specific as to what you want, and they will draw you prelim sketches, and they'll draw you 10 prelim sketches and have you pick which one you like the best. But some of the bigger name artists, I don't think they have the time for that. And so, a lot of times they only sketch at a show. Whereas, you know, like Lee did his at his house. But Finch only does it whenever he's at a show. He doesn't do it at his house or anywhere else. So he has a time crunch. So there's been times where I've even said I would like modern Catwoman with goggles, and the Catwoman I got was classic Catwoman, you know, without the goggles. And so it's sometimes you just get what you get. And I've always paid for mine, regardless of even if it wasn't necessarily my favorite thing in the world. Most of the art that I get, I love. But yeah, I mean, I think if I found the right artist to be able to do something like that, maybe that would be kind of cool, actually, to do something like that with my collection in the background or something. That would be kind of neat, and certainly memorable and different. But that's a great question. I've never really done that. I mean, I did do. I did have an artist do this once upon a time when I was first starting out doing the bat boxes. You know, I had them draw my face as Batman fighting the Joker. And so I had an artist do that on Instagram. So that was cool. You know, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I was just trying to make it something fun for, you know, people, followers of the channel, that sort of thing. But that would be fun. So anyway, my artist I mentioned already, and then I think obviously my favorite story that I love is The Long Halloween. That one's been my favorite for a really long time. I obviously usually mention Killing Joke in that same argument because that's really what got me really, really hooked as more of a older teenager going into adulthood, loving just how dark that was, and really appreciating the love of the darkness that Batman stories have. I don't know. So those are mine.
I have another question for you, Chris.
Yes.
This is Batman Statue Collector channel.
Yes.
And I am very frequently not invited onto the channel. I don't know what that is.
Well, you are welcome anytime, my friend.
But since it is Batman Statue channel, and I have statues I haven't opened, do you want me to do an unboxing?
Right now or anytime?
Right now.
Sure. What do you got?
I got Detective 27 statue.
Oh, that's that cool one. Yeah, that's neat. That's awesome. Yeah, let's do
I
it.
haven't opened it. So
That is
you want me to
awesome.
do it?
Yeah, let's do it. This is really cool. So
I did see that was in stock, and I was kind of tempted. I don't know, but I have no place to put it.
I think this one's really cool. I don't know if it was. I don't remember what turned me off about it. Was maybe the price point. I can't remember the price. Yeah, the price was a little high, I thought.
Right. Yeah.
Do you remember how much you paid, Brad? I don't remember how much it was for this thing.
I don't look at prices.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a
That's
good
for
one.
women. No, I think it was in the 300s.
Okay, all right.
Why do I feel like this was in the 500s?
But it's a statue of the Detective 20. A lot of people don't know this. Like Detective 27 is Detective Comics is a Batman comic. People just forget it. Like don't read it because they don't know Batman's actually in it. It's just called Detective Comics. So that's a little Easter egg for you.
Little tidbit. I like it.
Yeah,
I love it. Stanley says, "Don't block Brad from the channel." No, he is not blocked.
All right. This is the top side. I get the tape off.
He's gone at that tape with no knife.
That's right. He just ripped it off with his man hands. I love it.
And we've got our base. Looks like it's just like two pieces.
No, nice. It's bigger than I thought it was going to be.
That smell.
Oh, there it is. There's the statue smell right there. Don't drop it. Don't get high off that stuff.
That's the good stuff.
It's cancerous in California. Be careful.
All right. So we got our base.
I like the colors are cool.
Oh, that is cool. I didn't know it was the logo at the bottom.
Number 170. And
Yeah, it doesn't look like it was like 300 some made. It looked like on the bottom. I think is what it said. 3 something maybe.
A 314.
Yeah, that's not very many made.
Not very many made at all. Oh, if you push it back a little bit there, and then we've got our.
It's $500 on Amazon, delivered tomorrow.
I think it went up. I don't think it was that much. I don't think it was that much before, but
yeah. Billy, his wife's watching. Shh. we don't talk about prices. Shh. It was only $15. $15.
I won it in a raffle. Again, luckiest man I keep winning these raffles from.
I was actually thinking about putting it in my cart. So.
And all those letters from Visa are thank you letters.
That's right. Yes, they are. Who knew Brad was so lucky at raffles? I love it. That's pretty good size. I wonder if that's like 5th scale, 6th scale, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe not quite. I'm not sure. Or maybe you think it's 10 scale. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm way off.
It looks 1/10. Yeah.
1/10.
Plug in or supposed to like.
Speaking of 1/10, you know what just came out also from Iron Studios? That one, that old school one. Yeah.
Oh, the one with the purple gloves.
Yep.
Yeah, that one is. Yeah, it looks great, man. The sculpt looks really good on him, Brad. I love the lines on the cape.
It's like a big Christmas tree ornament.
It's cool. This is going to be a neat piece.
We're going to do it's reverse. Excalibur. Stick it in there. And
Oh, so you can just pose the rope up above, it looks
the rope,
like.
yeah.
Which actually gives it kind of a cool height to it, too. It makes it even bigger.
Yeah, that's great.
It is a cool statue. That is really neat.
Damn, I wish I had some place to put this.
I know. That's the problem is like I love some of the smaller scale things, but I've got my stuff so big that I just don't know where to put it.
Yeah.
That's what makes it hard.
Oh, and it comes with because it's McFarlane, or DC Direct McFarlane, it comes with a trading card.
That's neat. I'm impressed with how little the edition size was. I mean, that price point might have something to do with it, maybe, but
yeah, the times that we're in. But hopefully times are going to get better.
Yeah, we can only hope and pray, right?
Yep.
That's really cool. So where now? Do you already have a place for him? Like, is it? That's
no more room.
I was going to say that's the question I wanted to ask you too. Is like, you know, you have so many pieces. Is it hard to still order stuff, or are you at the point where like I will just order it and I'll figure it out eventually?
This setup, the camera and everything in the computer is sitting on top of the Riddler sideshow box that has not been opened yet.
Oh no, you got to open that next. That's fantastic. It's such a good piece.
I will open it at some point. I just I don't know exactly where to put it. I don't know where to put this. This is probably going in the bathroom.
Now, have you ever, because of space, box something back up to accommodate the new item coming in, or do you just find a spot regardless?
No, I find a spot regardless. I get creative. You know, I just need time to Tetris everything, you know, to make it work. I have no idea what I'm going to do when the next Batman movie comes out, though, because it really is pretty tight now. So,
so have you ever sold an item?
No.
Never sold it.
Never bought anything I wanted to that. Like when I bought it, I was like, "Oh, I want this," and the opinions never changed. Like nothing's ever come out like cursed or anything where I need to get this out of the house. and the only way to lift the curse is you have to sell it to someone else. It can't just be given to someone or something. You know,
just send it to Billy. He'll take it. Yeah, that's right. He didn't care. So that's really interesting that you've never sold a piece. That's awesome.
If you ever get a message from me like, "Hey, Chris, I got this statue thing I want to sell you," yeah, that's the cursed one.
That's right. It's the cursed one, or somebody is posing as Brad. Your account has been hacked or something. That's crazy. What else? I was going to ask you something. I can't remember what it was now.
I've been meaning to tell you something completely un-Batman related, but I know you're also a huge Seinfeld fan.
Yes.
And Costco has a Seinfeld advent calendar.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's really like can you poke the holes and something comes out of it, or is it like one of those like where you get like little knickknacks, or is it just like a paper?
I think it's like little knickknacks or things. I'm not sure what they are, but it's all Seinfeld related. So
that's really neat. That's awesome. I'll have to give that. My father-in-law is. I mean, we quote Seinfeld every single day of our lives, but that'd be really neat to give him probably for Christmas. That'd be fun. That'd be neat. So you have that piece right there. Are you happy with it? Are you glad you purchased it? Are you happy with the paint applications and stuff on it?
Oh yeah, no regrets. Looks good. Looks fine. Yeah, I like it. You know, glad they made it. Yeah, I give it 9 out of 10.
That's awesome. Well, it looks really great. Thank you for the surprise unboxing. That was a lot of fun.
You're welcome.
I like it. I wish sometimes like ours were that quick and easy. You know, it's just two pieces. There's been some times where I'm sure you've watched us sweat on here trying to get stuff put together. Like do
you unbox stuff on your channel? I never.
I do now. Yeah, I just started. Yeah, every now and then I'm like, might as well. People will probably.
I've been meaning to. I'm still trying to get through MASH, and then after MASH,
well, there's only like 3,000 videos.
For years, so
yeah, that's right. Well, when you're done with MASH, I think we have like 3,000 videos on the channel or something like that. So if you want to go back and peruse, you can start. And I was in like a dim lit cellar there for a minute, and then went to Batcave 1.0, 0.2, 0.5, 7, Bat Bunker, Bat Gallery, to this fine establishment with this lovely Michael Keaton Batman right here.
I'll definitely try to catch up for the season finale.
All right, that's perfect. That's awesome. I love it. Well, anything else you guys want to say before we wrap it up? We've talked about Batman for over an hour, and great
I'm just
story.
really curious about where Batman goes in the future, especially with all this talk of Paramount and Netflix trying to buy Warner Brothers.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to say real quick. Let's just go. Let's just talk about it really fast. They did mention this week, and I think it was by the actor Jeffrey that plays Gordon in the Batman series. He mentioned that this villain in Batman 2 really hasn't ever been done on live action film before. So it definitely has people speculating. I still have said for the last 2 years that I would love to see Court of Owls / Hush possibly, which I think they could do both of those and make them work really well. And that's kind of what people are kind of like maybe guessing. Do you guys have any guesses on what villain that might be? Never really been done before. I mean, that's pretty exciting to me. I love that.
I mean, it could be Talon.
Could be. That's what I said. Court of Owls. It could be Talon.
Could be Hush. Could be. It's not going to be someone who is just like a killer for killer's sake. It's not going to do like Professor Pig or Mr. Pizzazz or.
Yeah, they already did that with Riddler.
Yeah.
You can't do the same thing again.
It's got to be someone, because a story like that is like a bigger kind of Chinatown detective. It needs to be someone who is a bit more mastermindish, you know.
Mad Hatter, maybe.
Ooh, Hatter could be fun.
Yeah.
Yes, brainwashing. That could be very good. Like,
yeah, I would like
Gotham meets, Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
That could be fun. But I love the idea of if the court is involved, and even if it's not Talon, even if just like that, because like they focused a lot on the Waynes being these founders of Gotham, and the contributions they did. And so if you take the Court of Owls, which also was that controlling power for so many years behind the scenes, that could still play into really. I just think it fits really naturally into that world. I think it'd be awesome. Be really cool. So
I've always had this thought that Mad Hatter should be because Poison Ivy now is a little bit more of a anti-hero, and she has her own book and everything. Mad Hatter should be her arch nemesis, the same way that like Black Mask is Catwoman's arch nemesis, because in addition to the whole plant thing and sort of eco-terrorist, she's like extreme feminist, like, and hates men, and where Mad Hatter's like the ultimate incel, trying to control women with his hats and stuff, and they just would seem like they would be natural enemies. I've always pictured like if my version of a real life Mad Hatter would be like this alternative high schoolish picked on guy whose dad maybe works at a company that is making the chips, and he doesn't even invent them, but he steals some from his dad's work and he sticks them in the football helmets of like the kids that make fun of him, and then he's like causing them to create injuries onto themselves, and then he just escalates it further and further to where he's controlling all kinds of people.
That could be a lot of fun, actually. I would watch that. Billy, what do you think? What do you think
About
that idea? Do you like the idea of Mad Hatter maybe in that universe?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think. Was he ever? Because I kept trying to think of like villains that hadn't really been done. I'm trying to think was he in Gotham at all? Because I know Vic Zaz was.
And I really liked him in Gotham too. The actor did a really nice job. And I'm assuming that they're talking more about just film, like when they make that comment, because like everybody, even Court of Owls was on Gotham.
Action, yeah.
Gotham.
The Mad Hatter in Gotham used a lot of hypnosis. As opposed to the technology. So, but he was good. Anyway,
that'll be fun to watch. As we wait, like 2027, I think they said.
Jeez.
I think it comes out maybe 2027.
So it would be like 5 years from the first one, right?
Yeah. Stanley said they should do the ventriloquist. I've always loved the ventriloquist. I think it would be really interesting. I don't know how they. I mean, they could definitely do some sort of crazy serial killer type character with the ventriloquist, and I don't know exactly how believable it'd be. Although with Gotham, I think they did a nice job with the puppet. I was geeking out for sure. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching. I can't thank you guys enough. Billy and Brad, thank you for hanging out with me on this amazing Batman Day. And again, Brad, we're definitely going to have you on more often. You're definitely unbanned from the channel. And Billy, thank you very much for hanging out with me. And hopefully you'll have a chance to watch the show tonight for you wrestling fans out there.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We have Rogues Gallery Live coming on Wednesday. Have lots to talk about, a lot of photos to look through as well. And you boys have a great rest of your day. And again, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Happy Batman Day.
Happy Batman Day. See you in the back cave.